Yo,
What's up?
it's good.
No, much. Just chilling, man. How about yourself?
Good, man.
Shit. Motherfucking G to the R to the A
Oh
to the
boy,
B. Yo, this album, low key, this was like the first horrorcore album I listened to. Keep it a buck.
was it?
hmm Yeah, man. But I feel like this is one of those albums like people think that it's just like one of the first horrorcore albums and shit. Which
Man,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love Gravediggaz 6 Feet Deep, but you gotta put Gangsta, Nip, Ghetto Boys when we talking about horrorcore.
mm,
Nah, three early 3 6 Mafia, which we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, which I cannot wait.
what time we doing that? Man?
Um, I'm gonna say 11 o'clock the latest. You know,
Usual time.
yeah, yeah, man. Cause I know Friday at midnight was the long awaited Busta Rhymes
Yeah,
ELE 2.
I hope that's good.
Yeah, I know Ashley's gonna join us on that one. So,
Oh, actually joining us? Okay.
yep.
So I have I know somebody else is doing it on live. Yeah, well they doing that on Monday, next Monday though. They want give time so people could like hear the whole album over the weekend and all
Well, I was thinking about doing it like Saturday, but at the same time, my birthday party's on Saturday, so
that. Like, okay, that's what's up,
and I usually like to do the first reaction the day of the album when it's released.
man. No doubt.
But yeah, man.
I don't know. I don't see Sam. Sam, where you at? Get your ass in here, yo.
You know Sam, he's gonna come.
And Ronnie and the rest of these cats.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
I didn't even bother watching the hip hop awards, man, to keep it
I
above.
didn't even realize it was. They still doing that? The BT Awards?
Yep.
Wow.
Cause some artists I like, but some other artists I was just like, man, these are some whack ass niggas.
Who won that shit? Who won
I
that
got
shit?
I got some new music on the way too, so y'all stay
Yeah.
tuned on that.
Hopefully we could get you on the award show winning something instead of these guys.
Oh, best believe, man, I want to win all them awards, man. Hell, I'll even make my own awards. No, I'm honestly serious about that because
Oh,
every time I watch those hip hop awards nominees,
right.
I always get mad at certain MCs like Royce the 5'9", don't get fucking nominated and shit like that. And if I personally made like a hip hop awards, I would do my best to include both underground, mainstream, commercial, whatever, and stuff like that. It's not just always the commercial hip hop. Cause
Right. Right.
hell, even like Black Thought isn't been nominated in an award, and Black Thought's been putting in work on his solo album. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of his solo albums, I'm just surprised it hasn't gotten a nomination and shit.
But at the BT Awards, I'm not surprised.
And you would think like with the stature that the Roots have, perform
Mhm.
with Jimmy Fallon and shit like that, you would
Right.
think.
Remember, was it last year? Or was it the BT Awards? They nominated Griselda in best group category with Migos and the rest of them cats.
Yeah, that was last year.
Crazy. Yeah, what has happened to BT, yo? Like, I don't even watch it no more.
They sold to Viacom. That's what fucking happened.
There you go. That's why I stopped watching it.
You know what? I think one day I might do the rise and fall of BET. I might do a video about that, but that's going to require a lot of research
Yeah, you think?
because
Marquise, what up?
what's up,
You up
Marquis?
late, bro? You up late?
Because like of course I wasn't like around. I mean, I wasn't like raised on the days of the video soul, the team summits. But I've watched them on YouTube and stuff like that. I was raised most on the 106 and Park and the Rap Cities. And I bet you niggas don't even remember when after Rap City they used to have another hip hop show called The Deal with Memphis.
Right.
But that got canceled like within like a month and shit. But once they sold to Viacom, that's when all that bullshit started happening.
Crazy, crazy.
That's why Jeanette let white people tell your story sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah, man.
But yeah, man.
Should we start now? I think we should.
I mean, it's on you. I'm chilling. It's on you.
We starting now. Damn, it's already 11:25. I'm late. You know we on Black people time here, but
Right.
Danny Rap Podcast, Triborough Reg,
What's
we
good?
doing early Woo Wednesday album review. But by the time you finish, it's already gonna be Wednesday, so might as well. And
Right.
want to talk about this album properly because I never really did. When I had a chance to, I was actually late for the other time that we did on the other podcast. I was late as hell, but this is the actual time you're gonna hear me and Red talk about this album. And you know, I do consider it a Wu affiliated album. You know, from a super group collectively known as the Gravediggaz, started by Prince Paul, the legendary DJ Prince Paul, same Prince Paul that was responsible for De La, and you know came from that old school group Stetsasonic. I saw an interview with Prince Paul, and he talked about forming the group in I think it was 91, 92,
Yeah.
and we were doing the demo and was shopping the demo to all the labels, Def Jam, Universal, like all of those labels. Everybody turned them down, and the group came together because it was like I think at the time Prince Paul was like 27, 26, and he said how he like the record industry was like trying to like boot them out. Like similar to now, like how they try to boot out the old school artists. They were trying to boot out. They already looked at them like they were old. They were over the hill, and they were trying to get rid of them. And Prince Paul and Too Poetic, he had his own group, the Brothers Grimm, from back in the day, and you had Frukwan from Stetsasonic as well. They all banded together with the RZA. When they formed Gravediggaz, Wu-Tang wasn't even out yet. Like they had just came out with I think they were just coming out with Protect Your Neck, and they didn't even blow yet. And they couldn't get a deal when they made the demo tape. And by the time they got they got the deal with Island Records, Wu-Tang had already blown up. So that gave Prince Paul a lot of momentum going into this project when they finally got to deal with Island Records. And he said in the interview that it was I forgot the name of the journalist. It was a journalist that was talking that heard the album when they were making it, and that he coined the phrase horrorcore because that's something that I never even heard of until the Gravediggaz and the Flatlinerz, which he also talked about in the interview. How when he was shopping the demo to Def Jam, Russell Simmons didn't want no part of it. Then a couple months later, he sees him in the city at a red light. He was driving. He's like, yo, he came out with his own Flatliners with his own horrorcore group with his nephew. His nephew was in the group, and Russell told Prince Paul like, yo, like, what you doing out here? You killing me. He was like, y'all got the Gravediggaz and I got Flatliners. So he was like, yo, that's crazy how they didn't want anything to do with them until I think I want to say is RZA was really responsible for that momentum once he saw how Wu-Tang blew up with the first album, and then they gave them the deal. And that's a phrase I'd never heard. I actually saw an MTV segment on MTV News back in the day. I want to say it was either Kurt Loder or Tabitha Soren that did the piece on horrorcore because it was flown into mainstream music now. So when Gravediggaz came out with Diary of Madman, that was a big hit. We played it on the radio. I saw that video every day on Video Music Box, MTV Raps, Rap City, Then they Flatliners came out with Live Evil. They couldn't play that video on MTV because of the satanic images and all that.
Right.
You had Almighty RSO. That's Benzino's former group. They came out with Hellbound. I remember seeing that video a lot on Video Music Box as well. And it was becoming a thing. And the journalists coined the phrase horrorcore, and the media ran with it, and it caused a lot of controversy. With when Gravediggaz dropped the video for Dive Your Madman, they had like a disclaimer before the video, like you couldn't, you know what I'm saying, like they were warning people, like, yo, like, we don't suggest kids watch this video. It's, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
um that was a great first time I seen that was in the summertime, and seeing Scientific Shabazz on that, and Killer Priest killed it. That was the first time I ever heard Killer Priest. It was on that song. And I remember getting the album. I remember getting the album. It was in the summertime. It was hot that day. I went to the Wiz and I picked it up. And on my way back, when I was coming home, I saw Master Ace, and I saw he was like, I took the city bus home. Like normally I would take the train home. I took the city bus home that day because I didn't want to wait. Like the New York City subways, they're, during the summertime they're hot, so I didn't want to like wait. Took the city bus home, and when the city bus stopped at a red light, I saw Master Ace pull up beside the bus. And I remember like giving him a head nod, and he gave me one back. And he was in like some drop top car. I remember there was somebody with him. I don't know if it was Lord Digger. It was somebody passing the seat. Always remember that. And I ran home and I played this album, and I was like, yo, like this. It was like nothing I ever heard before. Like the production was eerie. It was really creepy, but it was banging at the same time. And you had this is like RZA, rocking the fangs, and he had like the blowout afro. And I had a blowout afro at that time because I was rocking braids at that time, and to hear all of them I didn't know what to think of it. I just was like, oh, this is a dope ass album. And then like it just blew up after that, and the horrorcore it became a thing, it became like a genre. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now it's like when I hear like artists like Necro, and a lot of people listen to Shamanatics, and those type of artists, I associate them with horrorcore. You know what I'm saying? Like horrorcore hip hop. And I feel like Gravediggaz and Flatliners and artists like that, they were like at the forefront when it came to this newly coined genre. You know what I'm saying? So like what was your first time, like what was your first memories of horrorcore or and listening to the Gravediggaz?
Okay, well, so when I was really getting into Wu Tang, I remember, just looking up shit about hip hop, and I came across the album cover, and I was just like, that's like the coolest shit I've seen, and shit like that. The fucking knife in your eye, the fangs,
Right.
all in the background and whatnot. And I looked him up, and I was like, Gravediggaz, and mind you, like when I was getting into hip hop, I was just looking at myself like, you have De La Soul, Wu Tang,
Right.
and Sonic in one group.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonic, I'm gonna definitely talk about them one day because
Yeah, they definitely got to get more
yes,
props. Even with me, I slept on Sonic, but I remember seeing their videos being played during the afternoon when the music box would be on. So they, talking all that jazz is like
oh my
a,
god,
a huge hit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what intrigued me about this super group of having Frukwan and Prince Paul from them doing horror, doing like grimy, horrific rap with RZA fit that that pocket, and then you have Too Poetic. So, but yeah, definitely Sonic is underrated.
yeah, man. And And mind you, it's like horrorcore music to me. I mostly prefer horrorcore in the late '80s to the '90s.
Right.
I kind of feel like horrorcore these days is kind of played out, in my opinion, because motherfuckers try so hard to be dark. I don't. Motherfuckers just try so hard with horrorcore, like Hobson. I not a big Hobson fan, to be real with you.
Right.
I tried to get into Hobson, but I cringe when people say he's horrorcore. Um, and so like with Gravediggaz and whatnot, man, I just always liked the fact that it was just it's like one of those albums a heavy metalhead can get into
Right.
when it comes to hip hop.
Right.
Like just that shit right there,
Yes.
that imagery right there is so
Crazy.
fucking like wicked and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Sinister.
Crazy shit.
And I want to say two things. One thing is, as much as I love and respect Gravediggaz 6 Feet Deep, I notice a lot of people they want to say that this was like the breakthrough of horrorcore music, which I'm definitely going to give them that. I'm not going to argue with you on that because 1994, like you had the Flatliners, you had Gravediggaz. Even though I would not really consider them horrorcore, Onyx kind of had that same thing too. Then you had like Sime. I forgot to mention the Isham, Nadas.
Yeah, I mentioned Isham and Nadas, right?
Yeah. But like to me, I just always felt like the Ghetto Boys, in my personal opinion, they were the originators of that horrorcore. Because if you listen to like the Grip It on the Other Level,
Right.
We Can't Be Stopped, some of the shit there's like some of the darkest stuff in hip hop history, like Chucky, um, yeah, like shit like that. And even Gangsta Nip. Niggas don't talk about Gangsta Nip. You know, the South Park Psycho. I mean, like shit like that. Like that's one thing I've always loved about horrorcore music because they really take the influence when it comes to these horror movies. And Gravediggaz definitely took it to another level. And I felt like the lyrics, it was not. I would have considered them a lot more darker than Ghetto Boys and Gangsta Nip, which I want to discuss more about that tomorrow. But they have like a more like juvenile, cartoonish imagery when it comes to the lyricism. And that's one thing I've always loved about this album. And my other second thing, and it just came to my head, but would you consider Dr. Dre and Ice Cube's Natural Born Killers a horrorcore song or no?
The video was, I mean, at that time in '94 when OJ had just gotten arrested for Nicole Brown's murder. Yeah, that was. I mean, that video. Yeah, you could put that in there. I mean, I mean, we never know because they never came out with the album, never did the album. But I mean, if they did, man, that definitely probably would have been a West Coast horrorcore classic.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was just thinking about that because that's, believe it or not, that song took me a while to get into and shit like that. You know, I love Dre's production when he was working with Sam Snead around 94, 95, boy.
Yes.
He was making some of his darkest shit. No one talks about that era when he was working with Sam Snead, but yeah, man.
Definitely. That's an underrated album too. We gotta talk about that Sam Snead album.
Which one? The one that he never came out with?
Street Scholars, something like that?
Yeah, Street Scholars. Yeah.
Yeah, that album.
Oh, I'm definitely down, man. That shit's fire, man.
Yes, the Dodgers just won. Any Dodger fans out here, they finally won. Y'all ain't win nothing since '88. Y'all finally got a chip. Go Dodgers. yeah. DMX is early horrorcore too. I forgot about DMX. Because one of my favorite X songs is The Omen, and then the song on Flesh of My Flesh. That's definitely horrorcore.
Damien.
Now DMX had did a horrorcore album, that would have been crazy.
I mean, it's dark and hell is hot. I'll call it like at least 50% horrorcore, 50% hardcore hip hop, in my opinion.
Would you rap as horrorcore?
Nah.
I don't remember any horrorcore songs from Coogee Rap.
He's more mafioso.
But I mean a song. I don't know if you do like one song, or you consider it in that genre. I mean, Big L did Devil's Son. Was he horrorcore?
Yeah, but L, he also had a lot of crazy shit on Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous too.
Right.
And even some of his 12 inches, the shit he did, like the unreleased shit. Yeah.
Michael Jackson did Thriller. He wasn't horrorcore. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you just do one song, you're in that genre already. I mean, that's just horrorcore related songs, but I don't think you're considered a horrorcore artist.
If Michael Jackson's Thriller is horrorcore, then Rockwell Somebody's Watching Me is more horrorcore than that.
Where's one hit?
Nigga was straight up talking to himself, and now everyone don't even know what his nigga at. He just disappeared right after that.
Right.
But if Michael recorded Somebody's Watching Me based off that chorus alone, that would have been a hit, man.
Right.
Everyone even forgot Jermaine was doing background vocals on that song too.
Right.
Shit.
And with the Gravediggaz, they all had like their like moniker names, like Resurrector was RZA, Gatekeeper, I think that was Frukwan was Gatekeeper. Yeah. Prince Paul was Undertaker, and I forgot what two was. I forgot his name. But actually Prince Paul talked about RZA called himself Resurrector even before Wu-Tang was starting. But he talked about how when they were forming, they used to come over to his house and have lunch and all that. He got him food and all that. They were really nice guys aside from the street stuff they were doing. And he was calling himself Resurrector even before that came out. Yeah, what up? Yes, the album has 16 tracks, all produced by Prince Paul, RZA, RNS was Shaheem's producer for his first album. And we start with the intro just when we thought it was over. Nice beat, real eerie, setting pace for the album. I definitely like the way that they started the album off with this intro.
Yeah, man. Very nice for the beginning of the album and shit like that. You just already from the tone, you can already tell the tone of this fucking project and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like it.
Yeah, that was dope. Constant Elevation. This song was the first I heard back in the day. On college radio was playing this. There's two different versions. There's a version with an alternate RZA verse, and then you have that one is a little bit longer, and then you got the album one. And yeah, definitely nice beat, nice airy pianos. Love the bass line and back and forth of it. Frukwan and Too Poetic. And Frukwan saying Gravediggaz and Massive putting niggas in caskets. And then you got Too Poetic saying critics say go to hell. I go, yeah, stupid motherfucker, I'm already dead. RZA, you got RZA warns you're not safe anymore. To all the holy spooks, I declare war. Just a really dope track, one of my favorites. I would have preferred the longer version on the album compared to this one, but I still love it. I think it's one of the best Gravediggaz songs. It just has like that like the theme of the song of this album. You know what I mean? So definitely.
Yeah, son, man. This shit, they already came off snapping on this motherfucker and shit, man. Constant, I think this was actually like the first song that they recorded for this album and whatnot. And a little trivia, there's actually another version of this track, but it has like a different verse.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's an alternate verse.
Oh, damn.
I put it in the description, so everything is already down there, so y'all can check it out.
Oh, my fault. My sound's kind of fucking up. My fault, but yeah, man. This was definitely a very, very, very dope track and shit like that. Definitely love the beat. Very grimy ass beat. Yeah, they all did their thing on this shit.
This should have been a single. I definitely, from hearing it, I'm like, yo, I like this joint. You know what I'm saying? Then when the album came out, I'm like, yo, that should have been a single though. I definitely could hear, like, see a video where you have like maybe, Prince Paul, being that he's the Undertaker, he could have been like dressed up in like a black shroud over his head and playing like the pianos or some shit. That would have been crazy, but definitely love that song. You get the track 3, Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. That was the second single from the album. Remember seeing that video, and that was a dope video for that. And the rumor is RZA wanted this track for Wu-Tang, but instead it ended up on this album. And definitely a dope track. I love the bass line, the beat for it was fire. RZA saying from the midst of the darkness, I come with this, hitting straight to the chest like a promising miss. Fire. RZA was still in his bag lyrically at that point. Definitely a dope song.
Yeah, man. This is really one of my favorite tracks off this fucking album. Everyone knows that sample that's been used and stuff like that. In my opinion, I feel like Organized Confusion, they use that the best with Black Sunday, in my
Right,
opinion.
right.
But yeah, lyrically, RZA was at his best on this album, and this is
Mhm.
one of the songs that prove it.
Yeah,
He was just going fucking crazy and shit like that. Like I love the first verse alone. Like, let's get it on, Hunk, and watch the
yeah.
spot get blown. I'll be that sick lunatic with the
Fire.
devil is home. From the midst of the darkness, I come with this
Okay,
hidden
Reg.
to the chest. I'm the proud. Like I was just like, I've never heard RZA.
Okay, Reg.
I never heard RZA rhyme like that. Not even on the Wu's best shit. Like he
Right.
was spazzing on this fucking
Yeah.
album.
That's I think that's the RZA that everybody misses production
Yeah.
wise. You know what I'm saying? Before he went Hollywood.
Oh my fucking god. Like, and the fucking beat, man. The beat is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said before, that sample has been used countless times. And this is actually Frukwan's favorite song off this project.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hold on, let me show you something, Try. Hold
Yeah.
on. Shit, where is it at? Where is it at? But you can go to the next song.
Okay. Also on Nowhere to Run, the rapper Curious, like if you all remember Curious George, Constipated Monkey, he's also on. They have him in the album credits for their song, but I'm trying to remember what part of the song he was on.
Yeah, that's another thing that when see, because I got this book. You know, this book right here covers this album, right?
Oh no, I never seen that. What is it?
Yeah, I showed it to you on the book collection. It's the Check the
You
Technique.
did some. You showed me that. That's about like album covers or something.
Yeah, the albums and shit. And when I was doing my research on this album, I never noticed a lot of rappers did some uncredited shit on this album. Like, I never knew Biz, Marquis, MC
Yeah.
Search, Ace. I was like, oh shit,
Mm-hmm.
that's
He's,
crazy as fuck.
he's business credited more than once on here. Actually, like he's on the next song, Defective Trip. He's
Oh,
I'm thinking it says Biz and MC Search. I'm thinking they were when the track starts off, Too Poetic is he's like getting lifted off of some drugs. I'm thinking Biz or MC Search was like one of the dealers that he got the drugs from.
yes, yeah.
And yeah, that was a good song. Really dope, sinister track. I love that beat. The drums on it was fire. The pianos, really eerie. And when RZA comes on with his verse, there's like the bass line switches, and he says, my head keeps on spinning, constantly continuing. 2 tabs of mescaline fucks up my adrenaline, and I like the way like for the song like it basically talks about them getting high. The gatekeeper talks about smoking weed, and the grim reaper talks about sniffing glue and smoking sodium pentothal. That's the same thing that's used for like the Leland that they give the Leland injection prisoners when they die. And RZA talks about drinking wine and smoking angel dust together. And that was a dope song, and I think it had a message in there as well, even though it was like an eerie track. But I think there was a message in the song, like, don't be like these dudes and get fucked up over this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a dope track.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. This is definitely a very trippy track. Very very dope song. Just talking about niggas getting tripped out over fucking like angel dust and shit like that. Um, yeah, man, love this track.
Yeah, that was dope. The Breath Trip. Track 5, we get to 2 Cups of Blood. Short track, but definitely love this joint as well. The dope back and forth. Mike played with RZA and Too Poetic. Love that joint. Has like a ill like horn sample in the back. It sounds I don't want to say like sound like a fire engine. It's not, I know it's like a horn sample, but it's like off though. It's an off horn sample. I like the beat. RZA starts off saying arm to the leg, arm to the head. He can resurrect the mental dead. Fire. They killed it. I thought it could have been longer, but I definitely like the mic play between Too Poetic and RZA.
Yeah, I definitely love this fucking song. Lyrically, I feel like it's one of the strongest tracks off this album. Definitely RZA and Grim Reaper did their thing. Yeah, man, very, very, very dope joint.
And you got track 6, Blood Brothers. Chris Paul produced this. Love the chorus, Blood Brothers, falling together. Love that joint. Too Poetic says, night brings stress like skins or PMS. The streets are bloody mess. There ain't no EMS in sight. Love that joint, and basically talking about them, looking out for one another, and the brother, and them considering themselves like blood brothers to each other. And I thought it was a dope track.
Yeah, man, this is actually my favorite track off this album. Believe it or not, this is actually the only song that Frukwan he produced for this album, and very, very dope, eerie kind of track. The chorus is definitely sick. Love, love, love the line when Gatekeeper says, "Yo, I was born with a rusty spoon as a mouthpiece. Life of the hard, cause the grave was my company. Hang with my problems as his trouble predicted to cross the path as I laughed at the victim." Like, very ill joint right there. Nice usage of that soft machine sample too. So
Right.
yeah, very, very dope joint.
Then you got track 7, which is like a skit or 360 questions, and it's basically like random questions from the listeners, from the fans, and you know the rumor is Prince Paul took a jab at Tommy Boy Records on this, because of the whole De La thing, and De La didn't get along with Tommy, and you all know about that. Yeah, but it was cool. I didn't really think it was needed on the album. It was alright.
Loki, any song that this is Tommy Boy Records is okay with me. That's all I can say.
Basically, supposedly, Vernon Reed from Living Colors on this.
Really?
That
What?
that's he's credited. I don't know if it's the same Vernon. Is Vernon Reed right from Living Color?
Yeah.
So he's credited as being one of the like the fans asking the questions. So I don't
Oh,
know how true that is. And Hellraiser also from Sons of Man.
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So um track 8 is 1-800 Suicide. This was another single that actually I remember this song from the movie. When Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. That
Yeah.
starred Jada Pinkett Smith and I want to say William Sadler. William Sadler, I think Billy Zane was in that. A long time ago, so I actually went to see that in the theaters a long time ago. That was from the soundtrack, and they played it in the movie. And then I saw the video for it, but the video version is different from the album version. And there's a remix, the Poisonous mix. You can check. I left the link in the descriptions. I like that mix too. That mix was also being played a lot when it came out. This was a dope song. It's actually like a twisted song where they're um they're telling you how to commit suicide, and it's instead of like when you dial 1-800, it's usually for help, but they're telling you like to dial a number and they tell you how to commit suicide. Each one of the members, and I like the beat. The beat was for the original version. I like the beat. I think it was a sinister beat. It's still melodic though, but it was like a dope beat. And then you got Frukwan saying after watching Jackie Gleason walk into a precinct, gun down a captain for no fucking reason. You got the RZA saying the first was convinced, stuck a water hose at full blast so his head can explode. Um, at the end of the song, you have like a beat switch, and it has like evil laughs and like a demonic voice talking, and yeah, I thought it was a dope song. It's really, like I said, it's really twisted. It's a really twisted song, and yeah, it definitely fits the theme of this album.
Yeah, man. 1-800 Suicide. This is definitely one of the first songs I've heard from them. Um, it's really, as one might think, it's like a suicide prevention song. It's really not. It's just
Right.
fucking. It's just fucking them on some crazy ass shit. Um, I love the way they slowed down that KRS-One sample and whatnot. Yeah, man, very dope track. I love the video too.
Yeah, Marquise. The song 1-800 Suicide was in the Demon Knight movie. If y'all ever never checked it out, the Tales from the Crypt, that old HBO show back in the was it the late '80s, early '90s with the Crypt Keeper. They made two movies. That the first one was Demon Knight. The second one was Bordello of Blood. The first one I actually liked though, but that Gravediggaz song is from the soundtrack, and then they put it on the album. But it's a different mix in the movie compared to the album version. It's like three different mixes for the song. I don't remember any other films using Gravediggaz music, but that's something that I'll definitely check. Um, Track 9, we got the first single, "Die with a Madman." That was the first time I heard Killer Priest on here, and Scientific Shabazz was just coming out on his own. Um, Really dope beat. I like the courtroom skit in the beginning of the track before the music starts off and the judges sentencing all of them to death and all that, and um really dope the opera singing in the background, and the beat was fire, the bass line was fire, just a banging track. um so supposedly RZA didn't produce it, even though he's credited for the track. It was Prince Paul did the drum programming, and but RZA found a sample, but he never I think Prince Paul said he never got credit until like many years later.
Oh wow.
And the I love scientific part. You try to haunt me, nigga. I ain't trying to hear it. Fuck. I give your ass the Holy Spirit. Fire. Collab with the War affiliate members, Killer Priest and Scientific Shabazz. Definitely a classic track.
Yeah, this is a very dope joint right here and stuff like that. Yo, the beat is so fucking eerie as hell. This is definitely like a horrorcore classic. Um, yeah, man, definitely one of my favorite lines of this album was when what's the nigga name? When Shabazz the disciple, he said, "I'll creep through the graveyard and hunt down your tombstone, dig up your skeleton, and stump all your fucking bones." Like Jesus Christ.
Crazy,
Yeah, man.
crazy. And also like you have like they also credit like the people like the judge, the guy that played the judge in the opening the courtroom skit. He's credited. He's what's his name? Ted the Judge Gannon. And you got I think Mr. Sime was down with Prince Paul or with RZA. Mr. Sime was also like a producer on this album. I think he had produced Death Trap, and yeah, he's credited as part of the courtroom skit. So yeah, definitely a great track. Track 10 we got to "Mommy Was a Great Digger." This was short, but it's also a 4-minute long version of the song as well. Um, I think I put that in the description as well. It was on the B side to 1-800 Suicide, but I like for it being short. It's a dope beat. I like it. It's not really nothing too much about it, but check the long version of the song.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The title, of course, takes reference to the Funkadelic song "Mommy What's the Funkadelic." Yeah, this is pretty straight. I fuck with it.
Right. And we get to track 11, "Bang Your Head."
Yo,
Real dope song. I love this joint. Just the way it starts off. It has like a killer bee type of um um melody to it. Real hard drums. It has like I could definitely see this like be like a rock song, like one of them like alternative rap rock songs. Definitely a fire joint. You got RZA saying thoughts of humanity drove me to insanity. To all my rivalries, I speak of profanity. Fire joint. There's also a basement mix of this track. I gotta find it. I don't think I've put that in the description, but there's another mix of this track. It's called Basement Mix, and it sounded like they recorded it in the basement. So definitely a fire track.
Yeah, this is very dope shit right here. One thing I loved about this track was just the fucking beat, just the heavy metal vibe this fucking track has and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I love this fucking track.
Yes. Yeah, that was Bang Ahead. When we get to track 12, here comes the Gravediggaz. Love this song. One of my favorites again on this album. Real sinister track. Really dark. Really grimy. I love the drums on it. RZA killed it. Too poetic. I like the way he started off and he said, you don't pull on Superman's cape. You don't pull the mask off the Lone Ranger and you can't fuck with me and my mans. I love that shit. That's the way he started it off. And Too poetic saying, when will a villain ever learn? I kill him like a bad germ. I burn MCs like a bad perm. With fire joint. Definitely one of the darkest songs on here. Yeah, that beat is crazy.
Yeah, here come the Gravediggaz, man. Another one of my favorite joints off this album. Um, I definitely feel like it's definitely one of the strongest tracks. And it just like has that one. This one should have been definitely a single too, in my opinion.
I think so.
Yeah.
Def- Definitely a banger. Track 13, we get to Graveyard Chamber, another really dark, really grimy, sinister track. Really haunted melodies on this. It's like horns, offbeat horns playing on this. The production just sounds grimy and real dirty. You got Dreddy Kruger's on this one. Um, I believe Dreddy Kruger is the nephew to Russell Simmons.
I think so. Yeah.
Um, I like his verse when he says this is for niggas walking in the rain, listening to their Walkman, talking that New York fucking slang. Definitely a dope joint. As well, you got I want to say Curious was on this joint too. I might be wrong. I want to say Curious George is on this as well. But yeah, definitely a banging track. Another one that I like on here because it just fit that whole horrorcore theme.
Yeah, I definitely like this track too. Definitely one of the darkest tracks off this album. I love the line where RZA was talking about holding fat bags, taking heavy drags, and I add more shells to the mags. Shots going off, you getting caught like tag, diamond crystal. I be ripping up your flesh tissue like dope
Uh,
ass shit. Very, very dope.
um, then we get to track 14, Death Trap. Really, supposedly Master Ace is credited for being on Death Trap. I don't remember hearing Master Ace on here though. Like,
Shit.
where was he like niggas just ad libbing in the background, and they just threw them like a credit?
I mean, probably.
It says Master Ace was on here as well as Don Newkirk. I remember that name. I think Don Newkirk was on 3 Feet High and Rising,
Yeah,
like
I
the
think so.
skits. Yeah, but he's credited also for the on the keyboards or whatever. Yeah, it's the track sample 7 minutes of funk. That's the same song that Jay Z used for Ain't No Nigga. And it's basically a song about far ways of living, nice beat, nice bass line, real soulful sample. I like the chorus with Frukwan on the chorus. You can't come back, no matter what you do when you fall in the death trap. Love that joint. Just a really dope track. Again, it has like a message within the song. It speaks of like death and all that, but definitely a powerful track.
Yeah. And I think Master Ace is on the intro because he does say lost in the ghetto dweller trapped in the cage part. I think that's his part.
I salute Marquise, Ron. Thanks for checking in, yo. Um,
But Death
track
Trap.
track 50, huh?
Oh, I was talking about Death Trap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very dope track right here. Fuck with the track heavy. Frukwan definitely did his thing with that first verse, man. Definitely like the beat too.
Yes. Then we get to track 15, the title track, 6 Feet Deep. Love this track. I loved it. I love when artists can do title tracks and it fit the album. You know what I'm saying? This definitely fits the whole theme of the album, and it's really offbeat, real offbeat pianos, and the beat and bass line. And the history behind this track was they were doing an impromptu jam session because the engineer was late or whatever. And you know I think the only people that knew how to play instruments was Prince Paul played the drums and Riz, Poetic and Frukwan. They didn't know how to play instruments, and they did like this jam session. And RZA, when they recorded the jam session, RZA just sampled out of the jam session to make this actual song. And you know, he sampled a lot in his drum machine. He was using a drum machine, and he sampled the jam session to make the actual song. And I think that was dope. And you know, when the track starts over, it actually plays. You hear like the clips of them like messing around in the studio and during the jam session, and then it goes into the song. So that's how he did the track. I definitely love it. I love the flow of all the members and the way that they they rhymed like to the beat, but it was like off though. And you know what I'm saying? Like when they did the chorus, RZA to the rector, you know what I mean? Like that, like and um uh Frukwan, like when he said digging graves is a regular trick wrangler, the boss stench wrangler. Like I like the way that they flowed off them on that beat. It was just different. It was just different, a different and it sounded dope too. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't use like a regular flow just for that beat. Like they actually did something out of the box for that track. So I definitely love that. You know how they pulled that off. And definitely a great title track.
Yeah, man, that title track is so fucking trippy. I could have sworn it definitely sounded like a jam session
Right.
and shit like that. Definitely some shit you would expect from like with those old rock groups and whatnot. But yeah, very, very, very dope track. I love when had the way they were do the intro track like G to the
Yep.
R to
To
the
the A, to the V, E,
A.
to the B, to the I, to the G, G to the A, to the Z, zag Z. Grave digger, nigga,
What?
6 feet deep. I love that. That's
Woo!
crazy. Crazy. See, this is back when artists was innovative, man. A lot of artists don't do that no more. When it comes to
For real,
chorus, they just spit their 16 and then go about their business.
for real. Like have some fun with your fucking
Yeah,
music.
the
Like,
choruses,
I-
the choruses should just be as important as the 16 bars. You know what I'm saying? It goes
right.
a long way, especially if you want to hit that mainstream status. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at 50 Cent in the club. Everybody knows that chorus. That's why it's such a universal song. I mean, 50 Cent could have been whispering on that song, but people know that chorus. And when that track starts off, he says, "Go, go, it's your birthday." Everybody know that. That's been used in horror films. You know what I'm saying? So the choruses go a long way, just as the bars. Back then, when you hear this album, it's like they thought about their choruses as well as their bars. So it's like you don't get that too much.
And don't forget when Bow Wow did that, I ain't ever loved nobody that.
I don't know about all that. You reaching? I ain't say Bow Wow now. I don't know about all that.
I don't know.
You funny. Yeah, that was the title track. Then we get to the last track. It's an outro. Rest in peace, outro. And we got Prince Paul talking over another eerie beat, just like the intro. And it should have been a full song, but I get what they were doing, and they left you in a continuation for more. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a nice way to end the album.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a nice way to end off the album too. Just definitely like it kind of reminds me of those old horror thriller movies where the fucking narrator's talking over some dark music and he's saying some philosophical shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's the same thing I got from when I came to this fucking song.
right. Definitely great way to end the album. This album to me is five my classic easily. Now you even got to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like every song, Constant Elevation, Diary of a Madman, Two Cups of Blood, Mommy was not Mommy, Bang Your Head, Here Comes the Gravediggaz, all classic. Love the production, that eerie, sinister, dark production. It gave you the tone and the feel of this album, and the lyrics from Too Poetic and RZA, Frukwan did his thing on this album. Salute to Prince Paul. Cause I mean, when I think of Prince Paul, I think of like, Daylight, the Daisy Age. I didn't think he could pull off, a horrorcore album like this. And he did his thing. And, definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. It is a classic to me, you know what I'm saying? And just all around, not even talking like horrorcore. It's just a great classic album in general. I love it. Definitely a great album.
Yeah, man, this shit right here is definitely one of the most definitive hardcore albums of all time. I just feel like it's so interesting that you have all these Tommy Boy artists, all these styles coming together for this one album.
Right.
Um, Definitely one of my favorite lyrically. I feel like this is the best album in my opinion. Um, I have to re-listen to the second one I have to re-listen to that one. But
Second one was good, but I don't think it's touching the first one. You know what I'm saying? The second one was good. It's not bad. I don't think it's touching the first one. I think the first one is flawless. I don't think there's no skippable songs on the first album.
right,
You know what I mean? I also want to say rest in peace to Too Poetic. He did pass away from colon cancer in July 2001.
rest in
Um,
peace.
I know, like after the first two albums, that him and Frukwan did continue with the Gravediggaz after RZA and Prince Paul left. They did do some other albums. I think there was one called Nightmare in A minor or something like that. I remember hearing that one online. Frukwan, I don't know if I found some other Gravedigger related albums with just Frukwan by himself. So I don't know if he's still carrying on the name by himself. But yeah, rest in peace to Too Poetic. Definitely, I definitely think he definitely did his thing on this album. He's underrated. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of songs, like Two Cups of Blood and Blood Brothers. He definitely killed it on the mic. Yeah, he will be missed.
Right. So
I want to say the album is out of print. The album is out. Well, at least on Amazon, the album is out of print. But check Discogs and anywhere else, and they should have it.
shit.
Ronnie said, favorite song from Inspector Dex Uncontrolled Substance. Um, I like
Elevation.
Word. Huh?
Elevation.
I like Word on the Street. I mean, it's dope, even though it was a single as well. That was a dope joint. Um, I wasn't to tell you the truth. I don't really like none of Dex albums, but I do feel like he is underrated in the clan lyrically. I feel like he has too good of lyricism to not have a classic album, and maybe that's because of the whole RZA having various floods in his house or whatever. But um, yeah, we that should have had a classic album. What's up, Red? Red frozen? Red, you frozen? Yo, Rec Room was dope too. Yeah, I had, Rec Room was dope. Definitely enjoyed that joint. I think Red is frozen right now. Yeah, salute to everybody that came through. Sam, Marquise, Ronnie, um, who else? Liquid Swords, Clutch B-Ball TV. Salute to y'all. Stay on here for like a couple more minutes. Yeah, Rec Room was dope. That was a dope joint. Better production. Oh, I gotta go with RZA. I love Lord Finesse though. Lord Finesse still doing it too. Like he's still, dropping heat. RZA to me fell off a long time ago though. But I love RZA from like like from the Protect Your Neck to like I want to say like to like the W album. After that, after the W album, I just stopped. He hasn't been the same once he went Hollywood and started scoring movies for Quentin Tarantino and stuff like that. He became an actor as well. You know. But yeah, Lord Finesse still doing it though. I seen Wu Tang. I saw Wu Tang in 1996 at the one and only Hoodstock Festival. We had like a free rap concert here in the city in Harlem, and Reggie's back, and that's when we had Mayor Rudy Giuliani as the mayor, and it was supposed to be Nas to close the show out, and he couldn't. I think he was tied up in traffic or something. Wu Tang came on, and unfortunately, when Wu Tang came on, I remember ODB was still alive, and he had a fight with a fan in the front row of the stage, and when Raekwon that came on, and he did I want to say he did something from he told like niggas to put their guns in the air, and you had this one dude took out his gun and started shooting up in the air, and it caused like a stampede. A lot of kids got injured. A lot of people got hurt in that stampede, and that made the 11 o'clock news like that same night. When I came home, when I turned on the news, you see like stampede in Harlem, and a lot of people got injured. But I saw a lot of artists. Biggie. Only time I seen Biggie Smalls there with Bad Boy. Big Pun was there. Aaliyah was there. Well, Aaliyah, she didn't perform. She was just talking about doing the one in a million album. Who else was there? Well, a lot. KRS One was there. A lot of people was there, but that ended in a bad stampede. We never had like a free concert like that in the city ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like when we have free concerts in Central Park, you know what I'm saying? It was different, but it was more organized. But the one in Harlem was like a one-time only thing. But that's the only time I saw Wu-Tang.
Oh, what did I miss?
Nah, no. Sam was asking me if I was saw Wu-Tang Clan live. I said I saw them once in '96 and ended up in a bad stampede and all that. Unfortunately.
Oh wow.
Yeah, got my Wu-Tang shirt. I got another Wu-Tang shirt. I got a couple like I haven't worn yet though.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on the air for about a couple more minutes.
Yeah, just a couple more minutes. Ronnie asks, better production discography, RZA or Lord Finesse?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say RZA.
I said RZA too. I said RZA up until the W, because after the W, that's when they started to decline, and then he started becoming an actor and doing movies and TV shows, and then hooking up with Tarantino to score his films and all that.
Right.
Ronnie said, "What y'all think about the Sickle and the Shovel album?" At some point, we might discuss that, because I don't see nobody discussing that album. I liked it, but it's not, like I said, it's not touching the first album. The first album is flawless.
Yeah, I gotta re-listen to that one.
You know what I mean? I heard that a few couple. I never bought that one, but I heard that a couple times in the past couple years. But it was good. It's not whack. It's just not touching the first one with me. Sam asks, have you seen Onyx live? I've never seen Onyx live. Never seen it live.
Yeah, I've never seen Onyx live either.
Reg, you look tired as hell.
It's been a long day. I've been doing a paper all night, so.
Cool. And we got another. Would you consider Mystic Styles a horrorcore album?
Most definitely.
We got that tomorrow night. Just everything is just connected. I never even planned to do Gravediggaz. I said, let me do Gravediggaz, and then Reg got we got Mystic Styles coming tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How everything's just connected like that, and that's gonna be dope. And you know, my first time listening to that album, so you know, stay tuned for that. That's gonna be tomorrow at 11.
Yeah, the latest 11 o'clock.
Cool.
Because I'm surprised up to this point. This tomorrow's the first time I'm going to talk about 3 6 Mafia, and
Right.
that's the reason why I started doing these like viewer picks, because giving a chance to artists I never had a chance to talk about and stuff. So
I came in on them when sipping on Scissor came out and
ooh,
Riding Spinners when that was Riding Spinners was a big hit up here in New York. That was like when I really started like checking for them.
yeah, man, 3 6 Mafia. I came up to them in Most Known Unknown,
Yeah,
the last good album.
yeah. Ronnie said, "Would y'all consider Redman Desert Dogs at a horrorcore album?"
Nah,
No,
it's more psychedelic and trippy.
I thought it was like part horror though, like you know, with him like going beneath hell and all that to see Dr. Travis and all that. Shit.
But I mean, I kind of see that album more psychedelic. I can understand why people say it's horrorcore, because like he was going through a lot of shit during the album, but it's more psychedelic and more tripped. It's like it's in a class by itself. That's the best way to
Who
put it.
should be in the Mount Rushmore of Wu-Tang Clan? Definitely Ghost. Um, that's a
Man,
question, man. I love Method Man, but I don't like Method Man's discography. You know,
I saw he deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore because
Raekwon. I would put Raekwon before I put Meth. I think Ray got better albums than Meth.
true. I would say Ghost, Meth, Ray, and Jizza. No, no,
ODB,
scratch that. RZA, yeah, RZA.
ODB.
Mm, ah,
One album. I don't know.
love ODB, but
He was
not much.
different. He was different. I don't know if I would put him on Mount Rushmore. I mean, the whole clan could go up there as far as I'm concerned. Just as a group, the whole clan could be there. I mean, but if I got to pick individual, it's hard because not all of them got classic albums. What is like the impact that they had? Like Ghost had an impact because he carried the torch during the 2000s. You know, same with Ray. And they still doing it. You know, Meth, he's doing it, but he's doing it in Hollywood. You know, it's been a long time since I liked a Method Man album. And you were supposed to get a Method Man Havoc album. What happened with that?
It's still coming.
Oh, it's still coming?
Yeah.
I want to hear that. Hopefully it's good. You know, RZA, yeah, because he's the creator. You know, he's done a lot. I don't know. That's a good question. You know, Ronnie put Meth, Ray, Ghost, Jizza, and Deck. Okay, Deck
Okay.
to me ain't got no classic albums. He's a great table setter.
Yeah, Loki. As much as I love Uncontrolled Substance, I would call it a near classic.
You call it a classic?
Yeah.
Favorite song from Takao? PLO style. Love that
Mm,
song. Him and Carlton Fisk.
that's a oh man, damn,
There's so many bangers on it. Bring the
for
Pain,
real.
Release Your Delf.
Stimulation.
That was good too. That whole album was a good album.
In my opinion, that's the most underrated album in the first wave of solo Wu albums.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's like with that album, yeah, it was good. It was successful at its time,
Hmm.
but part of me thinks its biggest success came from the Mary J. Blige song, and mind you, the remix got big.
Right.
But at the same time, too, like you had the Only Built for My Cuban Links, Liquid Swords, Iron Man, which, in my opinion, way better albums than Takal, but Takal definitely deserves a spot on his own for that dusty woo sound. Like some of RZA's most grimiest beats were on that
Right.
album.
And I remember when we talked about that album, I was actually I was underwhelmed. I felt like it could have been so much bigger. You know, I was expecting the big cut features. with Mary and with other people. I mean, because Meth is known for his features. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know him doing the drink, the what, the Biggie, yes, classic. And you know the shit with Mary and so many other artists he's collaborated with. I was expecting those collabs on Takal. When I didn't get that, and we got like a more darker production, I was like, well, this don't sound like Method man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was different, and it took me a while to get into that album, and I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Like now, when you look back at his discography, it's clearly a classic. But when that album came out, it took me a while to get into that album because I was like, yo, I'm not feeling this album because it's not what I expected from him. It's like if you get like a Mariah Carey album,
Hmm.
classic remix. You get a Mariah Carey album and you're expecting the pop joints and the hip hop remixes, but you get like a grunge version of Mariah. It's like, well, this is not what I was. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't expecting the dark, gritty sound on Takao. So it took me a while to get into that album, but it's definitely one of his first two to me are his best albums.
Yeah, man. To Cal 2000, that one grew on me in the past couple of years. I've always loved the album, but songs like Spazzola, Retro Godfather, oh Jesus, he just spazzed on that album.
Right.
The best.
Favorite song from some clean clientele. The Green.
Damn, Roddy. Ooh,
I love the Green. That whole album is a classic. The Green, um, Mighty Healthy,
Nutmeg.
One. Those are like my favorite trio for that album.
Yeah, Nutmeg, One, Child's Play.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole album, in my opinion, solidified the Wu Tang as a legendary unit.
Speaking of that somebody mentioned to me about I forgot the name of the song where he's like at the end he's like talking about like the things he grew up as a kid like liking or whatever.
Yeah.
And how they like for the album there's a longer version and he wished that they had put it on the album instead of like cutting it down.
Yeah, I heard. I think I heard about that when I did a review. We did a review on that years ago
Right.
because I think like with this album there was like a lot of sample stuff he had to get over and stuff. Because
Right.
I know Marvel, if I'm not mistaken, Marvel wanted to sue Ghost and shit like that or some
Oh,
shit.
oh, because of the Iron Man thing.
Yeah,
That's crazy. He lucky he got away with with that whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
right.
This is before Robert Downey as Iron Man. You know what I mean?
You feel me though? And
Have you
low
heard
key,
this? Huh?
I was just gonna say, just the fucking Supreme Clientele, Iron Man, just hip hop classics.
Have you heard the song Stable? Yeah, that's on the Ghost Beanie album. That
Another
was,
classic.
yes, that's an underrated album. Y'all need to do a Wu Tang discography. We did one on another podcast. I don't know if I'm gonna do one because I wanted to focus mainly on the affiliated artists first before doing any Wu Tang stuff. But you never know. We might do that. And I think the affiliated artists need to get more love. You know what I'm saying? They get slept on. You know, that's why I wanted to do this series. Is like I might talk about Sugar Bang Bang and Royal Fam and all of any of those affiliated artists. A lot of Dark Man. I want to do the affiliated artists, and then we do the clan after. Everybody know the clan, but a lot of people don't know the affiliated artists. You know,
Got a lot of documentary albums official too.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was Heist. Was it Heist of the Century?
Yeah. Oh, even
That
the title alone.
underrated album. Nobody talks about that album. And his little brother, Willie the Kid, he killing it right now.
Hell, Loki, Capadonna's the Pillage album. I have to always give that album love.
Yes, definitely. We might. Did we do an album review? We might need to do that.
Yeah, I did it on my channel.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what channel? Okay.
Everything is everything, man.
Underrated.
Woo!
Underrated album.
His only good album.
His only good album.
I never cared for the yin and the yang. I hated that fucking
Yeah,
album.
I didn't hear that one. I didn't hear that one. Favorite song from of 36 Chambers, Return 36 Chambers. Shimmy Shimmy.
Sweet
Like,
Sugar Pie.
that's a dope song too. It's offbeat singing and all that. It's cool.
Luther Vandross.
He thought he was in his cracked out mind. He thought he was Luther Vandross.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. At first it was Raw High, but I'm not afraid to say Sweet Sugar Pie is my favorite joint because that beat
is fire too.
And it was good.
The saga continued. That was a dope album. I think Redman carried that album for them. He's not even I think he's an official member now, but he wasn't. Like he's not like part of the main clan before. But Redman carried that saga continues album for them. Now all of their singles was with Redman. You know what I'm saying? And that was a dope album. But I don't consider it like a Wu-Tang album. It's more like a mathematics album featuring Wu-Tang.
Low-key, this might sound sacrilegious, but part of me wished there was less Redman on this album, and I love Redman.
On the Saga Continues?
Yeah.
But I've heard Redman say in interviews like they made him a member now, so he's part of Wu-Tang. Even though I don't look at him as Wu-Tang, he will always be Def Squad to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's part of them, and I think because of that, he was like on 4 or 5 songs, and he killed all of them.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is Redman and Wu-Tang album. This is not Mathematics album. Patti LaBelle? What about Patti LaBelle?
Oh, the Sweet Sugar Pie song.
Oh, Patti LaBelle, yeah. But he in ODE mind, he thought he was Luther Vandross. You know what I'm saying? He was offbeat singing it. I'm like, yo, dude is crazy.
Sweet Sugar Pie.
Sam said you should do Shaheem Manchild. Manchild, I gotta hear that again. I heard it's been years since I heard that album.
I never heard that album.
Yeah, I know it got shelved. I don't know if it ever officially came out. I know it got shelved for like years.
I thought it did.
It came out?
Yeah, I could have sworn it did. Yeah.
I think that's just around the same time I saw Shaheem, '99. Because when I saw Shaheem at a concert, like they were passing out like the Manchild flyers for that album. But yeah, I gotta go back and hear that because it's been a long time since I heard that album. What if Redman joined Wu-Tang from the start? He would still be better than half of them. I mean, I don't want to say that. He'd be better than I would put Redman over like Master Killer and You God, and you know what I'm saying? But Redman is his own entity, so I don't think he fit with Wu-Tang. You know, if you want to use him for collabs, that's great. But I mean, I don't look at him as like as part of Wu-Tang. He's always gonna be Def Squad to me. Him and Eric Sermon and Keith Murray. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but listen, man, I'm about to actually head out and shit like that.
Yes. We're gonna end this. I'm gonna be back maybe Thursday. I want to do like some horror movies discussions with Marquise. Reggie, if you available, you could join us.
You said Thursday? What time?
Yeah, we're gonna start like about 8. If you free.
Oh damn, I'll be at work. Shit.
Okay. But yeah, I might. I want to do something like another thing before for Halloween. But we're gonna just talk about like our first time we got scared from like horror movies and stuff like that. So it'll be like a first time type of discussion or whatever. You know. But definitely thank you, Reg, as always, and Ronnie and Sam and Marquise for joining the chat. Everybody that checked the vids, so I appreciate it. So. You know, definitely look out for us tomorrow on Red Channel. We're doing Mystic Styles, 360 Mafia. Can't wait for that. That's gonna be dope. For
real, I cannot wait for that too, man. Yeah. And spoiler alert, I'm gonna definitely do a lot of talking on that album. Okay, I got a lot of shit to say about that. I bet you do. I can't wait. All right. Hope everyone has a good night.